Hi, my name is Rob, and I want to welcome you to A Constantly Racing Mind. This is the pilot episode of my new channel exploring what's going on in my head, a mind that never sleeps. I have all sorts of ideas running through my brain right now. Thoughts of my favorite films, about making them, about the history of them, and probably there are your favorite films as well. I want to explore more about movie props and DIY, purchasing online as well, cosplay, which is something I got into when my kids were little, history in general, and war history in particular. I love sci-fi films, ancient aliens, action and adventure, and the horror genre. And most of all, I love to learn. And that's what I hope to share with you. So I hope you join me in this adventure. But first, here's a little bit about me. I am a child of the 1960s. It was a time of unrest, a build-up to war, civil rights, hippies, great music, and of course, the space program. For me, the love of space started with the Apollo 11 moonshot in 1969. Gas stations had special offerings if you bought gas from them. You could get a book on the Apollo 11 mission. My grandmother made me a spacesuit, and everything in my room was space-themed. As a small child, I played with Major Matt Mason. I read all sorts of books about space, about airplanes, about warships, both past and present. However, my elementary librarian offered me a set of books that changed my whole outlook on literature. That would be The Book of Three by Lloyd Alexander. Then came C.S. Lewis's Narnia series. I also grew up watching war movies, westerns, sci-fi, the Marx Brothers, and of course, horror films with my dad and brother. I was too young for Star Trek, but I did watch reruns of Lost in Space. And by the time I got to junior high, I had already read J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, and The Silmarillion. One day a new kid at the school came up to me at lunch and asked if I wanted to make a film with him. We signed up for drama and we had a few ideas and we both got jobs delivering the local newspaper to pay for a Super 8 camera. We had a few ideas but nothing concrete. That was until that summer. It was 1977. And you know what that means. Yes, that film, Star Wars. I spent the whole film literally on the edge of my seat, and I remember the audience cheering when the Millennium Falcon jumps to light speed, and they stood and applauded at the end. I was hooked. I watched the film well over 50 times within the first couple of years, and I checked out books at the library on cinematography, and I watched everything about special effects. I built X-Wings and TIE Fighter models, and I filmed them against a black cardboard with pinholes. Then came the famous dinner scene that had an unwelcome guest, 1979's Alien. The Empire Strikes Back, and then in 1981 came that iconic archaeologist, Indiana Jones. As the 1980s moved on, so did I, and I had to make a living and support myself. While I could still watch the films and buy the VHS and watch them over and over, I eventually found myself married and with children on the way. I got into software programming, and that allowed me to support my family. However, at the dawn of a new century, my kiddos were hooked on the Star Wars prequels, and I found myself learning all the lines of each character as I had in the original. That leads me to Halloween 2004, where I spent the months of September and October locked in my garage, creating my first lightsaber, and building not only the armor of the Dark Lord of the Empire, but also creating a special treat for my son. His costume, R2-D2. My daughter, who was older, had already decided she wanted to be Princess Leia, buns and all. My wife, as Yoda, stayed home and passed out the candy. My son nor I could see where we were going that night, so my daughter had to lead us around. We had a great time. The next year I created my X-Wing pilot, and in 2006 I revamped my Vader costume into a Dark Knight costume. Then I turned it into a TIE Fighter outfit. By that time, I started looking to dress a little less encumbered. I put together my Battlestar Galactica casual uniform, easy to maintain and not too hot during the blazing summers here at the local fan fest. The kids are grown and now I have time to spend on my passion. I have episodes planned for the next 2 years, from prop and gear unboxings, costume builds, helmet builds, blaster and lightsaber builds, and we'll talk about the related movies that they come from. I have all sorts of things planned, so I hope you join me on this long and strange journey. by giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. And I posted a link to my blog in the description below. So thanks for watching, stay safe, and stay healthy. See you in the next video.